Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from All Asians Dilemmas.
The impact of young people who do not marry, do not have children, and do not buy homes has finally arrived.
I mean, the not buying homes thing it's hard for everybody. Home prices are just ridiculous nowadays. I think in most countries, for most people.
After the parents of this generation pass away, these people end up evolving into what are called invincible individuals.
The hell's
Japan,
that?
long known for its safety, has seen public order deteriorate as serious incidents caused by these invincibles increase. Here, invincible does not mean someone with extraordinary abilities or literal invulnerability, but rather people without ties, no family, unstable job.
I see. That makes sense, right? If you have no ties to society, no family, no nothing, you're not really part of society anymore. You do whatever you want. You're gonna not follow rules. You're probably gonna break laws.
No assets, a low sense of social presence, ignored by society, and without hope for life. This makes the invincibles more prone to extreme behavior.
That makes sense.
After all, those who walk barefoot are not afraid of those wearing shoes. They have no weak points, nothing left to lose, and therefore become a factor of social instability.
That makes
After the
sense.
assassination of former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, internet users discovered that the perpetrator, Yamagami Tetsuya, was also one of these invincibles. He was over 40 years old, unmarried, childless, his father had passed away, and although his mother was alive, she was connected to a cult, which in practice left him without a family.
Damn.
The perpetrator of the knife attack and arson on the Tokyo subway calmly smoked after the crime. He too was an invincible, someone deeply dissatisfied with society.
See, they don't even call it. See, in America, this would be called incels. Most likely incel type thing. And it's just, kind of tailored to like the it's targeted to like the man's masculinity, the man being a man itself, where this one is showing, these are people that are dissatisfied with society and are not acclimated to society anymore. Not because there's some men that just can't get laid, right? This makes total more sense the way they frame it here than how the US or the West frames as, oh, it's the incel problem, all the incels out there. No, they're not just incels. They're just people that can't seem to be fully acclimated back into society because of whatever losses or just how society has changed.
For a long time, Japan was a symbol of low birth rates, which is one of the important reasons for the mass emergence of these invincibles.
Makes sense.
However, today Japan is being surpassed by its neighbors, who have even lower birth rates and even more fragmented societies.
Korea?
Yes, we are talking about South Korea. Currently, South Korea's birth rate is even lower than Japan's, and the so-called cigarette butt phenomenon has emerged. In many places, children are not allowed. Among young people,
Many places, children are not allowed. Oh, like restaurant type places and like things like that. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
the so-called three abandonments generation has appeared, abandoning dating, marriage, and having children. Going further,
That would be MGTOWs. I think that's pretty much what MGTOWs are.
the five abandonments generation has emerged, which also
Five
gives up buying a
abandonments.
home and maintaining complex social relationships. These factors have made South Korea the country with the lowest birth rate in the world.
And probably one of the most miserable type of women to deal with. Because they have this chip on their shoulder. They think that they're the best. And guess what? You look good probably because of plastic surgery.
Below 0.8. After all, when a game demands too much money and too much effort, veteran players do not recommend that new players join.
That's what's happening now in the video game industry. Video games want to charge what, $80 a game? People ain't buying it.
Earth Online works the same way. Even so, South Korea's lowest birth rate may, in the future, be surpassed by other countries with even lower numbers. In our Earth Online, there is no option to watch
Earth Online. That's so funny.
an ad to revive. Each life exists only once. The foundation for the emergence of the invincibles is rigid social classes, extremely high rates of single people, and lifelong non-marriage.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's happening everywhere. Social classes are just widening the gap of social classes. The low are staying further away from like the middle class, and the middle class can't even reach the high class anymore. Like that's just nearly impossible for most people. So yeah, and everybody's lonely. Nobody's dating anymore. It's a lot of things going against people.
When parents die, there are no more ties. There is no one left in this world worth protecting.
I can 100. I'm sorry I'm interrupting a lot. I know some of you guys hate that I interrupt a lot. Some of you guys are cool with it, but that whole family, when you have your parents pass, your mother pass, it is a very grounding thing to have your parents on earth, like still alive. Once they're gone, like this responsibility to still want to be a good person kindly slowly falls off a cliff, in my opinion. At least in my how I felt. Like I always wanted to be a good person, you know. I want to do things and this and that. I'm not saying I want to be a bad person now, but when my mother passed, I was just like, fuck it, you know, like fuck that, fuck this, and all that, because I didn't care anymore. So I can see when men aren't thriving or just in such a state and they lose that tie, they're gonna go off. They're gonna go whatever they call crash out.
From that point on, these people evolve into invincibles. Class rigidity prevents them from seeing paths of upward mobility,
Yep.
causes them to lose expectations for the future, and leaves them without goals. Without goals, even small dissatisfaction can turn into aggression.
Correct.
If the attack is random,
And I think this is why women, again, I don't think women have goals. They don't have true goals other than spending a lot of money and having a lot of money. This is why every little thing in relationships, in life, they get so dissatisfied because they actually don't have true goals that they were working towards. They just want things and then just expect those things to just appear.
as a form of revenge against society, it is even harder to prevent. Killing a completely unrelated passerby for no apparent reason is the hardest type of crime to investigate. The invincibles can be seen as a kind of chronic disease of postmodernity. Modern industrialized society has broken clan and family ties, weakened intimate human relationships, and, combined with the constantly rising rate of single people, has made society increasingly atomized.
It's so true. Again, in Japan and in Korea, it's probably a lot worse in the birth rates there, especially because they don't have immigration. That's probably the biggest thing about those countries. No immigration. We're here in the West, or at least in the United States. We just have so much immigration. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying we have a lot of it, so it still propagates our population up pretty well, even though we actually have pretty decently low birth rates ourselves.
These are the social foundations for the emergence of the invincibles. People without ties, in an atomized society, are like a social cancer, and so far, there is no truly effective solution. After all countries, after industrialization, see birth rates drop drastically, and this process shows no signs of slowing down.
Yeah, because after Industrial Revolution, women joined the workforce in mass.
Fugue, a video creator who observes human nature. Follow me, and let's surf the internet together.
Let's go.
In the end, the truth is simple, direct, and a little uncomfortable to admit. Unfortunately, there isn't much that can be done about this issue, at least not in the romantic way politicians, commentators, and pro-natalist campaigns like to pretend there is. The modern...
I mean, obviously, I think it's like, it's not that I think I can fix the world. It's like I want the world to be better, so I would try my best to make it a little bit better for whatever contribution I can add. I don't really think we can fix it overall unless there's huge swaths of policy change and just huge swaths of incentives for people to have kids and have families.
The world is not an open space of infinite choices, much less a neutral field where simply wanting it is enough for everything to work out. It looks far more like a poorly balanced game, where you are born with a predefined build, locked attributes, and a pre-programmed path. You don't choose where you are born, you don't choose who your parents are, you don't choose your social class, you don't choose the country, the culture, or the historical moment. And in much of Asia, you don't even choose the script of your own life. From an early age, everything is already set. Study hard, compete with everyone, accept the pressure, work to the limit.
They're not wrong, right? When I came to this country, you know what my options were? Lawyer or doctor. Those are my two options. Literally the only two options my parents gave me was lawyer or doctor. Was it because they were prestigious? No, because they made good money. My parents were just worried about me being able to survive and thrive in this country, so they just chose those two. But obviously, I'm a failure because I'm neither a doctor or a lawyer.
Buy a home that cost decades of your life, get married within an invisible deadline, have children before the biological clock turns into an enemy, carry all of this emotionally, and still smile through it.
We don't talk about the biological clock for men that much because we don't really have one, but we do. We do in a sense that if you still want to enjoy your life with your kids, frolic with your kids, and do all the things that, fathers usually want to do with their kids, you might think about it in like a little bit younger stages other than maybe like 50s or 60s. Just saying. I think like a maybe mid 30s, 40s would probably be still a good age to you're not too decrepit yet that you can still run around, do things. Just saying.
Famous
Especially if you have
free
a
will
boy.
that has always been sold as a universal value may never have truly existed. What existed was the illusion of choice, and for a long time, it worked. It worked because the game still seemed worth it,
Yeah.
because effort still appeared to lead somewhere, because sacrifice came with
Juice was still worth the squeeze then. The juice was juicy.
some believable promise of a future. But that changed. Young people noticed. They realized that the margin of choice was always minimal, that the path was drawn long before they even understood the rules, and that
This is why it's hard for me to like say that young people, like Gen Z and stuff, are stupid and lazy. No, they have so much information to their fingertips now that they can see everything with a broad brush, and like the whole hindsight is 2020 thing. They have hindsight, they have the internet. They can just see from behind like everything that's going on and all that. They're probably like, "Oh, it really is kind of a rat race. It really is not worth it." I can see that.
many of life's important decisions had already been made in advance. And when that realization hits, when you understand that the game was never designed for you to win, two options appear. The first is to keep playing, pretending everything is fine, following rules you didn't create, competing in an increasingly cruel system, and waiting for a reward that may never come.
True.
The second option is to voluntarily leave the game. And
Midtown.
that is exactly what many young people are doing. Not getting married, not having children, not buying a home, not entering complex relationships, not taking on long-term commitments that require a level of stability the system itself no longer provides.
See, this is the thing. It in itself creates more wealth inequality, right? Because these people now don't see a pathway to make money, don't see any of these things, so they don't push themselves to thrive. And then the people that are already making money, they're just going to keep making money. So the income levels, the disparity, then the class system is going to grow even further and further apart from each other.
Not because they hate life, not because they are weak, immature, or selfish, but because they understood the real cost of continuing to play. They looked at the effort required, looked at the return offered, and concluded that it simply wasn't worth it. This is not youthful rebellion, not laziness, not a lack of values. It is a rational decision within a system that has become structurally hostile. When the only real choice is left a few, people begin to value exactly that, the little control they still have. If they can't choose the beginning, at least they choose how they continue or whether they continue at all. Some choose to live with less, others choose to be alone, others choose not to pass this same game on to the next generation. And it is in this context that the so-called invincibles emerge. People without ties, without anchors, without roots, and above all, with nothing left to lose. Not because they want to be that way, but because the system itself pushed them in that direction. An atomized society creates atomized individuals and then acts surprised when those individuals stop caring about rules, expectations, and social contracts that no longer make sense to them.
Yep.
Perhaps this is the greatest paradox of modernity. A world that promised freedom but delivered scripts. A world that demands more and more effort while offering less and less meaning. A system that desperately needs people to keep playing, working, consuming, and reproducing, while making the game itself more expensive, more exhausting, and less rewarding.
And it seems so dystopian, as we watch a lot of these. And it's just like, it is somewhat, because as individuals, we can't do much other than improve ourselves. That's literally the only control we have. If you want things, do things, create things, become something. If you want to live a more mundane life, a mid-towel life, you're okay with the minimum and you're okay with this, that's okay too. Make a choice, people, and be happy with it. And you're allowed to change your mind. I think that the issue we have nowadays is everything is so absolute. Like once you decide something and then you change your mind later because you realize it wasn't good for you or whatever it is, people kind of dog you on it nowadays. And it's just like, people make mistakes. Sometimes I thought this was going to be the best path. I ran with it and obviously I failed. I'm going to say, yeah, probably wasn't the best path, but I tried. At least some people, the I've tried part has never happened. At least do that one. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.